Hey guys, KiwiSylveon, and welcome back to Seduce to the Demon War. In the last episode, well, let's just say we're learning to fly. Well, we're training with Faye, and we just learned to fly. Yay! And apparently they want us to have fun, so we're going to have to catch her. Or it. Faye was ridiculously fast, and I barely managed to dodge the obstacles in our way, which included other demons in decor.
Whoa!
Ah! Sorry, not sorry!
Despite ducking and dodging each speed bump in the halls, I couldn't help but laugh at the thrill of the experience. Faye looked back at me and laughed as well, but suddenly dropped their expression.
Ah!
With almost a screeching out, Faye turned their body upright and stopped going forward, holding out their hands and stopping me as well. To my surprise, Faye managed to stop me without budging from their place, like they were a perfect brick wall. Why did Faye stop? I turned upright as well, suddenly confused. Faye, however, floated forward ever so slightly and looked into a nearby room, peeking over the corner with barely open doorway. Out of my own curiosity, I did as well, feeling my energy die out and lower me to the stand on the floor at last. The room we were peeking into happened to be the war room we stared at the back of Diana's head as it looked down at the table in front of her, her hands gripping the edges like angry vices ready to break. How did Faye know Diana was here? And what the heck was Diana upset about?
How could a squad of scouts be found and slaughtered by a band of wild harpies?
Diana seemed to answer the question, but my mind began to try and imagine what she had said. Harpies existed? A squad of scouts were out and killed? I looked up at Faye, seeing them press their lips together in worry as they stared at the succubus. As I turned to look back at Diana, however, I silently gasped and covered my mouth at what I had laid my eyes upon. Around Diana's body was a black and purple fiery aura, flickering frighteningly at the air around her as she dug her nails into the wood of the table.
I'll have to search for it myself then. But where to start?
Before I could watch further, suddenly afraid of Diana, Faye grabbed my shirt and quickly pulled me away from the door, making sure to cover the hand I had placed over my mouth with their own for safety.
Let's go. We should get back to training.
Without even giving me an explanation or a chance to break free, Faye guided me back to the training hall. My mind became full of questions, but as we returned to the training hall, Faye became almost like a military sergeant. I had to practice flying and forming my thorn bush to build my stamina until the end of the day. By then, I was too exhausted to ask questions and just returned to my room. I would ask tomorrow. I slowly padded back to my room, tired from the day. I needed rest, and I needed the comfort of my bed and Matthew's arms around me. As I walked in, however, I took in a sight I did not expect to see. Matthew held Simon in a full-body chokehold, crushing his body like a stress ball and glaring hard at the beady red eyes.
I'm gonna rip you apart!
Matthew! I rushed in and grabbed Matthew's hands, prying them apart and letting Simon slip from between them onto the ground. Simon let out a squeak before running out of the room. Matthew, still for some reason enraged, took a step to follow him, but before I slammed my hands onto his shoulder.
Get back here!
Matthew, stop! I gripped hard onto Matthew's shoulder, causing him to turn to me and letting me grab onto his other shoulder. As I got a good look of his eyes, I gasped at the sight. His eyes were full of rage and anger as he panted in place. Whatever Simon did really made him go off the edge, or something was influencing him again. I suddenly became afraid, shaking underneath his gaze. Every fiber of my body began to spaz out as I became locked in his angry glare. What was happening to me? I opened my mouth to try to speak, but not a word would dare. But no sound would dare come out of my vocal cords. It was like I was too frightened to press him or stop him. As Matthew continued to pant for air and stare at me, something in his mind slowly melted, causing his eyes to slowly widen in realization of what he had done and what he was about to do to Simon. The strange hold on my body faded away as his muscles relaxed, trying to breathe and regain control of whatever clouded his judgment. As it finally became apparent that he had returned to his sanity, Matthew's eyes began to droop in sadness.
I'm... What am I doing?
Matthew pulled away from me, placing his hands between us and stepping back, staring at me in deep regret. I tried to step forward to try and comfort him, but he raised a hand to stop me, walking slowly over to the bed and sitting down, grasping his head.
Something happened to me. I don't know what.
I frowned and slowly moved and sat next to him. In shame, Matthew covered his face with his hand and curled over his knees, digging his fingers into his forehead.
I keep hearing my mother's voice telling me to come home and save her. Whenever I do, I completely lose control of myself. I can't remember what I did or why I did it, but I always manage to do something wrong.
I grimaced, remembering the random attack on Diana. I placed my hand on his shoulder as he shuddered and shook his head again.
I gotta fix this. There's gotta be some way to stop it from happening to me.
Matthew. It was painful to see him struggling. So I couldn't understand why he had to fight this alone. Why not go to the others for help? Matthew let aside and slumped his shoulders further.
And let them help me? Like they've always done?
As Matthew turned to me, I could practically see the shame in his eyes as he spoke.
Every time I was in trouble, they'd always come and help. Every time I do something, I'm treated like a damn kid.
Matthew turned his head away and gritted his teeth, forming fists and laying them on his knees, tightening them in aggravation.
There's a reason why I didn't ask them to help with the wedding. I don't want them babying me and doing everything like I'm some sort of stupid moron who needs everything done for him.
This is why I love Matthew a little bit more than Damien. Because Matthew just wants to be an independent person. And he's so cute, and he wants to be seen as like an equal, I guess. Not just
I want to do this on my own. I can figure this out without their help. I'm not even the youngest, but they still treat me like I am, even Damien. I don't want that anymore.
I was speechless. Did Matthew really feel that kind of pressure from his brothers? My mind went back to the first day I had met them. How Erik treated Matthew like a little boy, despite Matthew being close to his age. As the grimace of realization appeared on my lips, Matthew let out a shaky sigh.
I can't ask for their help. I'm sorry.
Hug him. I felt terrible for Matthew. He definitely acted like a kid, but it seemed like only I remembered that he wasn't one. After all, I had been with this man for over 2 years of my life. I wrapped my arms around him, hugging me to him and making him gasp in surprise.
Uh-huh?
I burrowed my face in his shoulders, silently apologizing to him with a soft kiss on his neck. Slowly, Matthew wrapped his arms around me as well, taking in a breath and relaxing once more within my arms. A peaceful moment of silence passed between us before Matthew softly pulled away and looked me in the eyes.
I don't understand why you like me at all, you know?
What? Confused, I stared into Matthew's eyes, trying to find the origin of where his statement came from. Matthew, however, took my hands and grasped them in his, looking down at them.
I love you so much, but I'm not mature like James or the others. I don't understand at all how someone like me could be remotely likable.
Oh, Matthew. Oh, corpse in a bud. I'm actually tearing up. Stop. I glared, not wanting him to degrade himself. As he looked back at me, he flinched at my stare, but I needed to get him to see that I loved him and cared for him, every part of him. It didn't matter that he wasn't like his brothers. He was mine, and I loved him. I squeezed his hand, locking his gaze into mine. I love you for you, Matthew. I don't care what your brothers act like or how you're not like them. I don't care. I fell in love with you, not them. Matthew remained silent, staring deep into my eyes and taking in everything that I was saying with a broken but hopeful gaze. He really cared about me and didn't want to hurt me, but I didn't want him to hurt either. Whatever this is, whatever thing is trying to control you, we'll fix it. But don't you dare degrade yourself like that. At last, I leaned forward and pressed my lips to his, locking his to mine in a loving kiss. Matthew stared wide-eyed before very slowly closing his eyes and melting into the lip lock. I wanted to show him how strong and wonderful he was. I fell in love with him not just for his childish side, but how he made me feel with every part of him. He was very much an adult when I was locked in his arms, and I drowned in his kisses constantly. I was so lucky to have him as mine, and I wanted to remind him of that with every part of me, mind, body, and soul. I slowly slid my legs over. I love music. Over his lap, straddling his hips and made the kiss between us deeper, relishing in the feelings that were burning between us. Matthew slowly drew his hands up my sides and wrapped them around me, hugging me to his chest almost possessively and making me gasp against his lips. He was getting the idea, and I was happy that my message was clear enough to understand. He was mine, and I was his. We would support and hold on to each other forever, and nothing would separate us. My clothes were slowly stripped off of my body, Matthew taking his time and looking at every inch of my body as it became exposed. I would shyly show him, but happily allow him to indulge and ravish me as he desired if he craved it. A flash of gold passed over his eyes, and as he finally grasped the back of my neck and kissed me passionately. I couldn't help but moan against his lips, feeling his free hand dance around each curve of my body as his enthrallment slowly eased itself into my core, warming my soul in love and need. Aww. Aww, he's so adorable. I don't know why people hate on Matthew. He's a cinnamon. He's a cinnamon roll.
You're so beautiful.
Well, I couldn't stop myself from grinding against my incubus, needing him to undress himself and let us make love like I desired, like we both desired. Matthew slightly smirked against my lips before turning us over and staring at me.
You're so beautiful. You know that?
I felt my body warm at his words, making me distracted as Matthew began to run his hands all over my body, leaving no inch of skin unexplored and unconquered by his fingers or lips. I arched back, pressing my head back into the pillows beneath my head, and let out a loving sigh and moan with each pleasurable touch he placed on me. This was truly heaven. He's so cute. I love Matthew. Not as much as Sam. Sam is a dick, but he's still adorable, and he's a tsundere, and he's adorable. This is back brain. This is not Sam's fault. This is Matthew's back. I was so lost that I barely noticed him stripping as well and hovering over me, finally allowing us to become one. As we did, the world around me became lost. I could only see Matthew, and he could only see me. We would become lost in each other's eyes as we wrapped each other in pleasure and love, climbing through our carnal ecstasy and chanting each other's names like two prayers in sweet harmony. I can imagine that probably Sam and, well, in my head it's Violet, but yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. I love their lives, but if I hadn't gone through the game, like, the first couple times, with the 5 that I did, I would probably love them more, but I grew attached to my own headcanon pairings, so. I love you, Carrie, and Twyla, and Irene, and Iridessa, and Norn when we're not there. But I love that you're with these girls, so. I could see Sam and Violet, who were probably on the other end, going, again? Or at least Violet would be like, there they go again. And Sam would probably chuckle like, those two are like wild fucking animals. Which would get Violet to smirk like, animals, huh? Are you calling me an animal now? They'd argue, and then they'd break out into a hot love-making fest. James and Allie would be like, here we go again. I hope you're done reading that book. Because they both love reading books. So, like, well, we're not going to get finished any reading. Want to join? And Allie would be like, might as well. By the way, I love you, you little nerd. Ah, crap, my internet went out. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, God. I looked and I thought that they stopped, like, uploading. But thankfully, all my videos are uploaded. I just need to get the internet to kick back in so I can edit it. I mean, they're all up now. I mean, they'll be up in the next couple days. And I'm like bulk recording all these because my birthday is on the 23rd, so I'm going to be very busy in the coming days doing other shit. So, yeah. I'm trying to get as much as I can out. So, hopefully I can get these all to, like, correspond with each other, like part 1 of Eric's with part 1 of Matthew's or something like that. Probably not. I'll probably have, like, part 1 of Matthew's lined up with part 2 of Eric's and then kind of bounce between them until they're done. But, yeah. Anyway, back into the smut. By the way, I see mistakes in the pictures. If you look at, like, across from his ear, you can see a little white. I am too good. Oh well, he's still adorable. My hands guiding themselves around Matthew's body, feeling the slight sweat layer over his soft skin as I drag my nails over his back. Ooh. Thankfully, I don't have long nails, but I can just imagine doing that. Ooh. From the pleasurable hiss that erupted from him, I could tell that he enjoyed that and would pay back in kind. There are gonna be marks all over their fucking bodies at this rate. But again, with all the incubi, yeah, you're gonna get that. Our lovemaking soon became rapid and heated, unrelenting in its crescendo towards a beautiful hot climax. And then there's Damien, like, oh god, oh god. And Jenna, who, oh my god, I said her name. Oh well. Jenna would be like, Damien, what's going on? Be like, help me. Matthew and everyone going at it again. And their minds are evil. And then they'd join in. So it'd be a whole loud night for this night. We drove through it together, uncaring of who would hear our cries and screams of love. Oh boy. And then imagine Diana going, there we go. God, what took them so fucking long? Before slowly easing into a gentle and feather-like afterglow, whatever. Matthew and I held on to each other, lost in the embrace between us, and euphoric in our emotions. I was so happy to have him in my arms, causing me to pull him closer to me and cuddle against him. Matthew laughed a bit before kissing me softly and nuzzling my forehead with his. I love you, Matthew.
I love you too.
We remained there, taking in the sounds of our synchronized breathing and letting our hearts eventually beat as one. We would get through this. We would. So adorable! He's so cute. I love him. He's a little Cinnabon. Sleeping that night filled us with determination for the next day. I was hopeful, rooting that everything was going to be alright. Of course, not everything turns out the way we want. God damn it. The main character has the worst luck. The morning came at last, rousing me from my sleep. Surprisingly, I was full of energy, ready to go and take on the day's training. However, I quickly realized I was alone. Huh? Matthew? I only sat up and looked around, not seeing him anywhere in the room. Worry crept into my mind. What if he left to do something he was influenced to do? What if he tried to figure out a way to force the influence out of him? Hi, Matthew, and finally you don't have a shirt on. Fuck. I like seeing the boys without their shirts. Can't help me. I'm a fangirl. Shut up. Go away. Go away. Go back into your box, fangirl. I gripped the bed sheets to remove it from my body when I looked up to see the door swing open, revealing Matthew holding 2 plates of food for me. By the way, I hope they dressed during the middle of the night, otherwise anyone could pop in and go, oh god. Otherwise he's just sitting there butt naked. Well, then again, the main character's engaged to one of them in their route, so I guess they've seen everything, so it wouldn't be surprising. I looked up to see the door swing open, revealing Matthew holding 2 plates of food for me.
Good morning!
I became dumbstruck. Matthew? What was up with him and why was he up so early? He wasn't exactly an early bird. Matthew grinned as he walked over and presented a plate of delicious-looking fruit, eggs, bacon, toast, and pancakes I had ever seen. My mouth went agape at the mere sight and smell, and I slowly took it from Matthew's hands. Matthew? When did you make this?
This morning, duh! When else would I have been able to make it?
If you see my mouth, I'm sorry, but probably not. I looked up at him. He seemed very happy and cheerful, despite everything that happened the night before. Did he manage to drive out the influence? As I noticed the dark circles under his eyes, I could tell that the night had become somewhat of a struggle, so maybe that was indeed the case. Still, something in my gut pressed me to be cautious. Something wasn't entirely right about this situation. Even though seeing Matthew happy made me happy too. I slowly began to dig in, savoring every delicious bite and almost forgetting my worries about it. Wow, this is amazing! Matthew let out a happy sigh and nodded.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna go to training now.
I suddenly shook my head, trying to take in what he had just said. He was going to training now? I looked to him as he began to turn around, holding out an arm for him. Whoa, 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 hold on there!
Bye!
Despite my protests, Matthew left the room, practically skipping out of it. What the hell? Something was now definitely wrong. I lowered my plate and stood, racing toward the door, but was stopped by Diana, who was about to step in. What?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Diana looked me up and down before looking to the plate of food. Wait, I still hope we're dressed. I hope every time they make sex, before they completely get bonked out to sleep, they at least put something on. Otherwise, this is very embarrassing. Looking at the plate of food I had left on my bed and looking to the plates of food she had in her hand, obviously meant for me and Matthew.
When did you...
I shook my head. Diana didn't know that Matthew was making me food? I became more and more worried. Diana stepped in and placed her plates on the nearby table, crossing her arms in concern.
All right. Do you now wish to tell me what is going on?
I naturally bit my lip. I couldn't tell her, but something about this warning me that whatever was influencing Matthew could have gotten worse. I began to squish a bug, because there's a bug on my screen. I began to internally panic, but I kept a look of calm on my face. Matthew just made me breakfast, that's all.
When was this?
I grimaced, looking away. Apparently this morning. Diana shook her head and pressed her fingers into her temples, slowly exhaling an irritated sigh.
That boy is seriously concerning me now.
Stop! Don't call him a boy! Jenna would immediately she'd explode on Diana because in her head, she doesn't see Matthew as a boy. Sure, he's childlike, but that's just Matthew. Stop! Don't call him a boy! I didn't mean to explode, but after hearing Matthew's worries the night before, I couldn't help but naturally defend him. Diana stared wide-eyed at me, most likely wondering where my sudden outburst came from. Even though I had vocally challenged her, Diana let out a sigh and crossed her arms.
Regardless, I'll have people watch over him. If he does anything out of the ordinary, I will be the first to know.
Daddy gave me a hard stare for a moment before turning and leaving the room. I became torn. Matthew didn't want to help, but it seemed like he very much needed it. What if this was all something I was overreacting from? What if he was hiding something vitally important? I gripped my hand and shook it. Stop it, calm down. That's right, I had to calm down first. This wasn't going to be easy, but the truth would come out one way or another. I ate my food and prepared for the day, praying that I would not hear of Matthew killing someone. Ah, boy. As I walked to the Grand Hall to meet with Faye, to meet with them for my training, my mind slowly began to trickle in memories of the day before. What was up with Diana, and what was with her aura? She seems so normal so far, but remembering the sight of her in angry flames made me a bit worried. What was she planning on doing, and where was she going to go to do? Where was she going to go? I finally reached the grand house, seeing Faye holding a strangely woven basket of sorts. Peeking from the top was an intricate-looking bottle, and I could faintly catch some sort of items wrapped in green leaves. Were we going somewhere? I tilted my head at Faye and walked toward them. What's the basket for?
Well, we gotta have food if we're gonna go out today, right?
Huh? Where are we going? I had thought we had to train. However, the new look on Faye's face proved that today was not going to be about practicing anything.
I want to take you somewhere outside the castle. We'll be in a safe place, I promise. Want to come?
Sure. I guess. Mornings about leaving the castle entered my mind, reminding me of Diana's heavy suggestion the day I had arrived in the demon world. Did I really want to leave the castle now? Sure, go for it. Thinking about it, the week had been pretty stressful. Maybe it was time for a break. A day wasn't going to hurt us, right? Right. I nodded with a smile, making Faye grin back at me before taking my hand and leading me out of the hall. They guided me through the castle to the front gate, then released my hands to fly high in the air. I would be surprised if Dinah would be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" They would be like, "We're training!" Like, does that mean you have to leave the fucking castle? Yes, it's something I have to teach her. And the boys would be like, "Oh shit." Well, and Matthew would be like, "You better not get her killed, or I'm gonna have to pin you to a fucking tree." The boys would be like, "Matthew, what's going on with you?" And whoa, bye.
Come on!
I stared at the open sky before taking a breath and nodding. I dropped my hands to the ground, and up I went into the air. Faye cheered silently before flying out over the florist. Florist! There's a florist here. You want some flowers? Causing me to follow suit. The journey forward continued for almost a half hour before we arrived at a large mountainside cliff. Faye landed on it and set down their basket before opening a large seat and draping it over the side of the cliff. This was indeed a picnic. I landed by the cloth before stepping over it and sitting down, letting my feet dangle over the edge. We were pretty high up, but the sight was gorgeous, but I was pretty sure we were safe as long as we didn't do something stupid. Faye followed suit and sat near me, pulling up the basket of their goodies between our hips. They reached into it and pulled out 2 small packages, both wrapped in large leaves and held together with twine.
Here, made it myself.
They handed one to me and began to open theirs up, allowing me to look down and observe what I had been given. It was light, like a sandwich, so I expected it to be such. Unwrapping it was easy enough with a simple tug. As the leaf opened up, I stared at what was inside. It was a sandwich-sized block of what looked like bread, peppered with some little spots of green veggies and seeds of different kinds. I was intrigued just looking at it. What is this?
Good.
I stared for a bit before breaking off a piece of it to taste. It broke off rather easily, revealing a soft and seamy warm center. It became even more interesting to me as I lifted the piece to my lips and took a bite. I expected it to taste somehow exotic or wild and crazy. I was completely incorrect. Bread. It tasted like bread. Fresh bread, but still bread. I chewed a bit and swallowed, accepting that my expectations were cruelly deceived. Before looking at Faye and seeing them practically chow down on their bread block, they seemed to enjoy it a lot. Was I missing something? I took another bite and tasted it again. There was a bit more taste the second time, as the taste of the seeds popped out on my taste buds, but it wasn't anything truly marvelous. Maybe it was enough for a demon. They finished their bread before grinning at me, crumbs decorating their lips and cheeks before they licked them all away with their tongue. I took another bite of my bread. Whoa, back. Before looking out to the forest before us. This is a pretty nice place.
Yeah, this place is pretty nice. I come here and eat all the time.
Really?
Uh-huh. I really don't like the food they make at the castle, especially the stew. Blech.
I tilted my head, vaguely remembering being offered stew the day after I came into this world. What was wrong with it? What's wrong with the stew? Faye looked over at me and gasped, their face slightly turning green despite the surprised fear in their eyes.
You didn't eat it, did you?
Well, no, but... Faye let out a relieved sigh, placing their hands on their chest. I would question it. I don't know. It doesn't say. I was insanely curious. What was wrong with the stew? I turned to Faye and leaned in, catching their gaze and making them stare back at me. Faye, what was in that stew?
Well,
Faye? Faye shut their eyes before covering their head, curling into themselves.
It's Imp! Pig Fawn Imp!
I stared, taking it in. Pig, fawn, imp? I got a bug around me. I thought I killed it. It's reincarnated. Then I remembered the Demon Lord's henchman from the vision the boys showed me when we met. The Demon Lord had a servant that looked like a pig fawn. According to Diana, the Demon Lord had imps, so the servant had to be one. On top of that, one apparently had snuck into the castle to electrocute Diana the first day I came. Did she kill him and stick him in a stew? Did I almost eat a demon? My stomach felt suddenly queasy as I covered my mouth and took in a heavy breath of realization. I was now incredibly grateful Diana had stopped me.
I am so sorry. At least you didn't eat it, right?
I nodded, shaking out my nerves and calming down. Thank God I didn't eat it. I let out a sigh and leaned back onto their arms, looking up at the sky above us.
You know, for a human, you are pretty good with magic.
I looked over at them and tilted my head. Where was this coming from? Faye, I only really know 2 spells.
So, there are some demons who only know 1 spell. You know 2! That's better than 1, right?
I was surprised, but I nodded. There were demons like that? Faye let out a sigh.
There are all kinds of magic in the universe, you know? For you to master demon magic, let alone fairy magic, that's a really cool talent.
I smiled, happy to know that I was being seen as talented. Something about hearing a demon tell me that I was talented, when it wasn't my fiancé, made me feel really special. Faye reached between us and brought out the bottle, popping the cork and offering it to me.
Want some?
What is it?
A brew from where I was born, SeduceFion. It's good, I promise.
Sure, go for it. Might as well. So help me, Faye, if I get drunk and you push me off of this. Diana, Matthew, and everyone will kill you. I gently took the bottle from Faye and lifted it to my lips, taking a sip and being surprised at the taste. If it was alcohol, it definitely didn't taste like it. A gorgeous mixture of berries and mineral water danced along my tongue, revealing a hint of some spice I couldn't recognize. It went down like water and spurred me to take a good swig before passing it back to Faye, wiping my lip. Wow, that's amazing!
I know, right?
Faye cheered before lifting it up and chugging a good percent of it down. We shared the bottle, only limited to that one bottle, and enjoyed the state of a mild euphoria it gave us. As we sat back up, we held a simultaneous sigh.
You know, something's wrong with Diana.
There it was. I looked over to Faye to see them gazing into the sky, cheeks slightly pink from the drink they had, but they continued to speak naturally.
I have this thing, like, I can sense danger and stuff, and lately, Diana's been flaring up for me like no tomorrow, you know? Like, she's...
She's what?
Like she's turning into the Demon Lord or something. She's growing more, quick to make angry? Maybe.
I could tell this was the reason why Faye needed to leave the castle. This concern was definitely one Faye needed to figure out, or at least vent about. Diana seemed to be close to them. What do you think could have changed her?
I don't know. I mean, she's always kind of been a, I guess, passionate person. You know, since she hates the Demon Lord and stuff. But she's mostly been pretty nice and stuff until recently.
Really? She was nice even when you met her?
Really? Especially when I met her. I went to her after my entire clan was burned and, well, she kinda took me in and asked me to help her in the war. I was the first person besides for her guard to work with her.
Besides for her guard? Don't you mean besides her guard to work for her? People. That was an interesting story. Well, it was sad of what happened to Faye's clan. They seemed to have moved on and were okay with where they were. Faye tilted back and lounged back on the blanket.
I've pretty much been there ever since the war started. I've never seen her get so angry and stuff. At least not to the point where she suddenly, poof, burst into flames.
That does seem a bit odd. I became concerned for Diana, too. Would she be okay? She was leading a large rebellion against a murderous psychopath. So it seemed to come with the job, but if Faye watched her and saw this change, then what could have sparked it? I shook my head and fell back onto the sheet beneath us as well, staring into the open sky. I couldn't spend my time thinking about it. I was out to relax with Faye, and they seemed to want to get off the topics now, so that they had said their piece. We relaxed there, chatting away at random topics, until it was time to head back, practice a bit of what I knew, and separate for the night. Hopefully things would be settled soon. I quickly walked to my room, wanting to make it there before Matthew. As I turned the corner of the hall to the hall my room was in, however, a large number of shouts echoed.
Grab him! Don't let him get away!
Let go of me!
I stared wide-eyed as the guards rushed into my bedroom and dragged Matthew out of it by his arms. I was even more surprised to see him slightly battered and covered in blood. What? I took a step forward to rush in and see what was going on, but a hand stopped me and pulled me back. I looked over and stared as Sam gripped my shoulder, glaring ahead at his brother. Sam? What's going on?
Matthew did something really fucking stupid.
Ripping Sam's hand from my shoulders, I turned around and glared, almost snarling in anger. What do you mean? What did he do? Sam looked to me, unfazed by my anger, probably because he deals with it enough, and walked forward ahead of me, following the group of soldiers and Matthew down the hall. I did the same, now just desperate to know what's going on. As we arrived at the Great Hall, Matthew was tossed into the center of the room, where Rabbit had constructed a large magical circle. As Matthew fell to his hands and knees on it, the circle activated and formed a large barrier around him. Frantic, Matthew rushed at the walls, slamming into them to hopefully be set free. He even formed multiple... multiple knives and tried to tear through the walls, only ending up with them ricocheting and landing on the floor.
Release me! No!
Matthew! I rushed forward, trying to catch the barrier, but was forcefully pulled back by Irene and Iridessa. I floated in their arms, struggling against their hold, but became still as Diane entered the room with a large, bloody handkerchief in her hand.
You come into my castle, eat my food, rest in my rooms, and have the utter gall to kill one of my guards and try to steal war plans?
No. It couldn't have been. I stared at Matthew as he locked eyes with Diana, sneering and pressing up against the barrier.
Well, well, well. If it isn't the Queen of the Rebellion. I gotta tell ya, you look like crap after all these years.
Diana's face remained stone cold as he passed the handkerchief to one of the nearby guards and stepped forward, pressing her hand to the barrier.
Lux.
I want to know what Lux means, actually. Oh. It means light. Apparently. Well, I called that question. Apparently it means light. Or electricity at this point. On her word, the barrier suddenly began to brighten with lightning, shocking Matthew's hand.
Ah!
Matthew, no! I began to struggle more, wanting this to stop. Soon enough it did, as Diana pulled her hand away from the barrier and glared into it. Matthew, having been electrocuted, fell to his hands and knees, panting wildly.
I can smell you, Demon Lord.
I froze. The Demon Lord? He was behind this? I thought it was his mother, but the Demon Lord? I looked back at Matthew, seeing him chuckle despite being in utter pain.
You figured me out, huh? You may have locked me away in my castle, but my bond to my blood is unbreakable!
I'm going to leave it here, and I will see you guys in the next episode where maybe we might end it. I might make that one a little longer. So, anyway, I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye!